You have probably heard some version of this sentence. Your back just has wear and tear. At your age, you'll have to live with it. And yet the pain you feel each day does not feel like just age. It feels sharp, heavy, exhausting. It keeps you from walking, from sleeping, from doing the small things that used to be automatic. You may have done everything they told you. You took the pills. You tried a few exercises. Maybe you even changed your mattress or did a round of therapy. And still, every morning, every time you stand up, there it is again. So a frightening question creeps in. If my scan looks the same, why does my back still hurt this much? What are they not telling me? Here is the part almost no one explains clearly. Chronic back pain after 50 is often not a simple picture of more damage, more pain. Two people can have the same MRI. One has mild pain and lives their life. The other feels stuck and fragile. The difference is not only in their bones and discs, it is in how their muscles, their nervous system, and their fears have adapted over time. In this video, the idea that pain always equals damage will be gently pulled apart. You will see why your alarm system can stay loud long after the fire has died down, and why that is scary, but also changeable. If you have ever thought, there must be a deeper reason my back still hurts, stay with this. By the end, you will see that there is a deeper reason, and that it gives you more options than just live with it. You have probably done everything they told you to do. You took the pills, you tried the stretches, you did a bit of therapy, maybe you even changed your mattress. And yet your back still hurts, months or even years later. So a dark thought creeps in. Something must be seriously, permanently wrong in there. What if the real reason your back still hurts is not that your spine is secretly falling apart, but that your whole pain system has learned to stay on high alert, while your muscles and your confidence have slowly shut down? In this video, that idea will be unpacked in simple, honest language. A clear line will be drawn between damage and danger signals, between what your scan shows and what your nervous system is doing, and between real structural problems that need protection and chronic pain patterns that can be changed. My name is Dr. Robert Ellis. For more than 20 years in geriatrics, one sentence has been heard more than almost any other. They say nothing serious is wrong, but my back still hurts all the time. So what am I missing? Most of the time, what is missing is not another pill or a more detailed MRI. What is missing is an explanation of how fear of movement, long-term avoidance, muscle weakness, and a sensitized nervous system can keep pain loud even after the original injury should have quieted down. Modern pain science has been very clear on one thing. Pain does not always equal damage. In the early days of an injury, yes, damaged tissue and pain often go together. But as weeks and months pass, tissues usually heal, or at least settle, while pain in some people stays just as loud or even gets louder, even when imaging does not show active new injury. In some cases, the scan may look worse, but in many others, it remains stable while symptoms fluctuate up and down. Pain science education from major clinics now emphasizes a key point. Once pain has become chronic, it is often driven less by ongoing tissue injury and more by changes in the nervous system, the way your brain and spinal cord process danger signals. Put simply, the alarm system itself can become overprotective. At the same time, The way people respond to pain early on can strongly influence what happens later. Fear avoidance models of chronic pain describe how a person can get stuck. They hurt, they become afraid of movements that might hurt, so they avoid them. Avoidance leads to stiffness, weakness, and loss of confidence, which makes the next movement feel even more threatening, so the pain alarm keeps going off more easily. In older adults, studies have found that fear of movement, what clinicians call kinesiophobia, is not just an emotion. It predicts worse outcomes over time. Older people with acute back pain who were more afraid that movement would damage them tended to report more pain over the following year than those who were less fearful. Other research shows that kinesiophobia in seniors with chronic low back pain is linked to poorer mobility and balance, which increases fall risk and makes independence harder to maintain. So when you ask, "Why does my back still hurt?" part of the answer is that time alone is not enough. If pain leads mainly to avoidance and guarding rather than to gentle graded movement and strength, the back and the nervous system can stay in a protective state for a very long time. The real enemy in this story is not your age or your willpower. It is a set of messages that have probably been repeated to you for years. Back pain means something is damaged. If it hurts, don't move it at all. You have a bad back now, you'd better be careful with everything. Those messages may have been meant to protect you, especially early after an injury, but when they become the only story you hear, they turn into a trap. They encourage you to treat every twinge as dangerous, every attempt to exercise as risky, and every flare as proof that your spine is crumbling, even when scans and exams do not show a new injury. On the other side, you may have been told or shown a different extreme. No pain, no gain. If you want to fix this, you need to push through hard workouts. That message is just as unhelpful for a 60, 70, or 80-year-old body. Pushing too hard, too fast can backfire, confirming your fear that movement is dangerous. Under these conflicting messages, a hidden condition often forms, a pain-fear-avoidance-weakness loop. It looks like this. You hurt your back or have a bad flare. You become afraid to move in ways that might re-injure it. You avoid bending, lifting, walking far, or exercising. Your muscles weaken and fatigue faster. Your joints stiffen. Your balance gets shakier. Because your body is less prepared, normal movements feel heavier and more painful. The pain reinforces your fear, and the cycle deepens. Researchers and clinicians describe this in different terms: fear avoidance, kinesiophobia, deconditioning, central sensitization, but for the person living it, it just feels like this. I move less because it hurts. The less I move, the more it hurts when I try. So I move even less. The encouraging part is that this loop is not a life sentence. It is a pattern, and patterns can be changed. Over more than 2 decades, there have been older adults with MRs that looked very worn, who nonetheless improved their pain and function, and others with relatively mild findings whose lives were shrunk by fear and avoidance. The difference was not whether they had age-related changes. Almost everyone over 60 does. The difference was whether they understood their pain and were helped to gently move through it, rather than only hide from it. To make that practical, think of 3 layers of the real reason your back still hurts, from the most basic to the most hidden. Layer 1 is deconditioning, when muscles and joints fall behind. When back pain leads you to sit more and move less, your muscles, especially in your back, hips, and core, begin to lose strength and endurance. Joints become stiffer, and simple tasks like standing, walking, or climbing stairs require a higher percentage of your remaining capacity. The same chore that was easy at 50 starts to feel like a workout at 70, not just because of age, but because of lost conditioning. Studies exploring chronic low back pain often find decreased muscle endurance and changes in motor control, the way muscles fire together, compared to people without pain. Research in older adults with back pain has found that fear and avoidance are strongly linked to reduced physical activity and worse mobility. This is why a short grocery trip, a little housework, or standing at the sink can leave you drained and sore. The job did not necessarily get heavier. Your body has simply been underused and overprotected for too long. Layer 2 is fear and avoidance, when protection turns against you. Fear is not the enemy in the first days of an injury. It keeps you from doing obviously dangerous things. But when fear continues, long after tissues have begun to heal, it leads to avoidance of not just harmful movements, but almost any movement that might cause pain. The brain starts to tag everyday activities as threatening, bending, reaching, walking, and your whole system stays on high alert. The fear avoidance model of chronic pain has been supported by many studies. High pain-related fear and catastrophic thinking are linked to more disability, more pain, and slower recovery. In older adults, kinesiophobia has been identified as an important prognostic factor associated with worse pain over time and worse mobility and balance. This is the voice that says, "If it hurts when I bend, I should never bend," or "My back hurt after a walk, so maybe I should stop walking." It feels logical and safe, but over time, it pulls you deeper into the loop. Less movement, more stiffness, more pain when you try. Layer 3 is nervous system sensitization, when the alarm gets too loud. With ongoing pain, the nervous system can undergo real, measurable changes. Pain pathways in the spinal cord and brain can become more excitable. The areas of the brain involved in emotion, attention, and memory become more involved in processing pain. This phenomenon, often called central sensitization, means that the same input, like light pressure or a small movement, can produce a stronger pain output than before. Pain is then less about fresh tissue injury and more about a very protective alarm system. It is like a smoke detector that now goes off not only for a house fire, but for burnt toast. Reviews on chronic low back pain describe this shift clearly. Over time, the brain's response moves from primarily sensory areas to more emotional and cognitive areas, contributing to pain staying loud even in the absence of active damage. Clinics using pain neuroscience education emphasize that chronic pain is often driven by nervous system sensitivity, not ongoing tissue damage, and that understanding this can help people move more confidently again. This explains why some days a small, harmless movement feels like a big threat, and why your pain may not match what scans show. It is not because you are imagining it, it is because your alarm system has learned to err on the side of caution, loudly. All of this means the real reason your back still hurts often, lies in a combination of deconditioning, fear-driven avoidance, and a sensitized nervous system sitting on top of whatever structural changes your spine already has. You cannot change your age. You cannot easily reverse every disc or joint change, but you can absolutely influence those three layers. Escalating toward independence and longevity is not about erasing all pain. It is about rebuilding enough strength and endurance that everyday tasks feel less like emergencies. It is about reintroducing movement in a graded way so your brain can learn this is safe again. It is about learning that pain can be a guide, not always a stop sign, especially when you understand that not all pain means damage. With this approach, many older adults do not become pain-free saints, but they do become people who walk farther, stand longer, carry more, and participate in more of the life they care about, while needing fewer pills, fewer emergency visits, and feeling less frightened by every twinge. You also do not need to adopt a fitness identity to do this. You do not have to love gyms, willpower quotes, or hard workouts. You simply need to see yourself as someone who can learn about pain, who can move gently even when a bit uncomfortable, and who can build strength and confidence slowly on your own timeline. Instead of, I have chronic back pain, that means my spine is ruined. A more accurate and more helpful story is, I have persistent back pain. Some of it may be about old changes in my spine, but a lot of it is about my nervous system, my fear, and my strength. Those are things I can still influence. If this way of understanding the real reason your back still hurts made sense to you, here is a gentle invitation. Next time your back hurts when you move, pause and ask, is this sharp, new, dangerous pain? Or is this my sensitive system reacting to a movement it has not done in a while? If it is the second, consider not stopping entirely, but dialing it down. Smaller movement, slower pace, more support, and letting your body learn that it can move without breaking. This is Dr. Robert Ellis. If this video helped you feel a little less afraid of your chronic back pain and a little more hopeful that change is still possible, consider liking the video and subscribing to the channel. It helps more people over 50 find calm, science-based explanations and practical steps instead of only scary stories and quick fixes. You are not too old for your backstory to change. You are not too late to step out of the pain-fear avoidance loop. You are simply at a point in life where understanding what your pain really means and what it does not mean can be the first powerful step toward moving with more confidence again.